Hello and welcome to my Minecraft tutorial on how to build a pirate ship, or any type of ship for that matter. Instead of telling you how to build an exact replica of mine, I'm going to try and teach you the basic steps so you can adapt it and build any size ship you want to. First, you'll want to build an outline of the ship under the water to give you something to work with. I build my outline one block below the surface so it doesn't disturb the water. Starting at the back, you want to build a half circle shape, and it's useful to make the back line an odd number long. With the back outline done, you want to make one or two long straights to create the mid-section of the ship. Next, gradually bring the two sides together to a point for the front, leaving a one block gap that we'll come back to later. The next step is to build up the sides. For the front and mid sections I want an average height, so I've outlined a curve of 2 blocks, then 3. Then at the back I want it higher, so I outlined a curve of 2, then 4. And now I just repeat the pattern. I'm making the cut-off point for the back to change to the front just slightly into the first straight. Then I'm using half blocks to stagger the change and make it seem more gradual. Now, with the sides done, it's time to work on the front point. This takes a lot of trial and error, experimenting until you find something that looks natural. But basically, you're looking for it to raise to a 1 block thick point. Once you find something you're happy with, then build up the sides in the same pattern as earlier. Then you want to make the square sides at the front start to stretch forward, making the point at the front seem more gradual. And finally add some half slabs and extra blocks to the rise, so it also seems more gradual. With the ship's basic shape complete, it's time to build the deck. I recommend switching to a different colour wood and using half slabs to make the build seem more dynamic and 3D. You want to build from the very front up to the block before the back reaches its full height. If you have a world edit program, I recommend using it now, as this will probably take a while. Once that's done, build a wall from the deck to the top of the back walls, and build a second smaller deck at that height. Next, you'll want to go underneath your ship and delete the guidelines we started with. You won't be needing them anymore. With that done, you can begin to bring the bottom of the ship together, again using a curve pattern. Once the ship is fully enclosed, you can start clearing the water. Again, this is a long job, so a world edit could be useful. With the ship's body finished, we can move on to the sails. I like to use oak wood for the mast, but it's just up to your preferences. Depending on the size of your boat, you may want 1, 2 or even 3 masts. I'm using 2. I recommend setting out guidelines before you start building, in case you decide they're too close or too far away once you've started. Make sure your mast is aligned with the centre and start to build it up. The size just depends on preference. I want a large sail and a smaller sail on my main mast, so I built it quite high. Going up 5 or so blocks from the deck, I set out the bottom of the mast, making the length just under double the height I want it to be. After setting out the beams, I choose black wool for my mast, as my ship is a pirate ship, but you could use any colour. Building in a slight curve, with first layer 1, second 2, and then third fill in the gap, I build out the sail. In my case, I then extend the mast and build a second, smaller sail. Once the sails are built, you can offset them to give the effect of wind. And finally, at the top of the mast, you can build a crow's nest and even a flagpole if you wish to. You want to repeat this process for every mast that you want to build. As you can see, I built my second mast and added some pixart of a skull and crossbones for decorations. With the mast built, we can add a triangular sail to join the front mast and the front tip of the boat. I try to visualise a straight line between the front of the boat and the top of the sail to get an idea of what size triangle I want. The building is pretty much trial and error, just trying to get something that doesn't feel too big or too small. With this done, the ship is structurally complete, and the final job is to add the decorations that you want, and this is something I can't teach you, and you have to decide for yourself. But here is a quick tour of what decorations I decided to do. As you can see, there's a lot of fences around acting as rope between the masts, and also along the sides of the ship to make it seem a little more safe. Back here I raised up the back and added a wheel for the captain to steer, and I also added in ladders so you can access the crow's nest up top. I also added in 2 staircases up to the taller deck in between the captain's quarters, and also put in supports for the masts. And on the main deck there's a few little items like this boat and some storage over on the left. If we go through the hatch down beneath the deck, we can see many cannons line the walls. If we head up this staircase, we get access to those cannons and the storage and also the prison cell, because you never know when there might be a mutiny. And on the far side is the crew quarters. And that is pretty much everything I've done to decorate my ship. Of course, you can do whatever you feel is suitable for your build. And that concludes my video. I hope you found it interesting and informative. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below and I'll try and answer as soon as possible. So thank you for watching, subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you next time.